And we're live. Here we go. What is up, everybody? It's me, Lewis. And there is my companion and my partner, Daniel. He is here.
I'm here.
And I can't see the chat because OBS sucks. What do you mean? What do they mean? Okay, now it's good. Yeah, stupid OBS. Yo, I have a gripe to OBS before we get started. Every single time I try to stream, the chat on OBS never shows up. So what I have to do is disconnect our YouTube account from OBS, reconnect it, and then the chat on the side pops right back up. And I have to do that every single time. Every time.
Listen.
Tough.
I don't know use OBS, but it sounds tough. So I am sorry.
Yeah, it's just annoying. It's a bit much. It's a bit much. You can't you can't have the chat open all the time? Every time I try to stream, just make it pop up.
OBS, fix your shit, bro.
Yo, fix your shit, OBS, all right? But we love you, please. Don't kick me off the platform, please. So here is today's stream's topic. We are going over NFL coaches that have been recently fired. A lot of them. Some coaches we were like, okay, yeah, we knew that they were going to be fired. And some coaches were already fired. And there were some coaches that we were kind of shocked in the group chat that happened. So here we are, and there's Daniel on his laptop now. There he goes.
Yeah.
And we
finally unfroze.
Finally. And some coaches we were vehemently shocked at when I posted the link of the post in the group chat. And we were just like, what? They fired him? What? Oh my goodness. And let's get into it. Yeah, Daniel, you got anything else to add or?
This too dark?
Let me see. 6, 7. Could be brighter.
Is this too bright?
Could be brighter. Let's see.
How's that? Is too much with the glare?
The glare at the top of the top left is the issue.
Let's try this.
It's still there.
Okay. Try this.
Okay. Let's see. All right, turn on the lamp. Here we go. No. If the lamp was behind the computer, it's way better. Actually, it's not that bad. It doesn't look that bad.
I have one more idea.
Okay.
I would need a minute.
Okay. Well, it's all.
Okay.
I'll be signing into the YouTube chat because OBS is awful. So, for the people watching this right now and the people who are going to watch this later, what do you think about some of these coaches getting fired? I mean, just put it down in the comments. We're going to talk about it, but just put it down in the comment section. How do you feel about all these coaches getting fired, man? This is honestly like super crazy for some of these, right? Because we've had it on record, right, saying some of these coaches would be good and they will be staying. And I guess the organization said, you know what? We don't care. We do not care. Just like the Mike Tomlin meme, they don't care. They do not care. Whoa! Here we go. And also, chat. A gift that I got over the weekend was this. All right. So just when Daniel is still getting ready, I'm just gonna show off my gift a little bit. Look at this bad boy. Look at this. This bad boy right here. This is why I am the champion. This thing is heavy, by the way. It's super heavy. So it's actually really cool, really nice. Shout out to my girlfriend for getting it for me. And yeah, it's super cool. It's the WWE Undisputed Championship. It's fire. And Daniel's looking great. And I just had to show the chat that amazing gift that my girlfriend got me. So shout out to her. Now let me put it back. And let's get back to it. And here we go. Daniel, are we all set to get to talking about these coaches?
I hope so. Gift is fire, by the way.
There you go. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's honestly so cool. It's so cool. Like when I saw it like my inner child, like came back. I was like, oh my goodness. I felt so nostalgic.
It's every guy's dream.
It is just having like a replica belt. Cause like as a kid, like I always wanted one of these, but they're like mad expensive as a child. But now,
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
We got. Here's the problem, right? We're still inner kids. Isn't that great?
It's amazing.
Like, we still haven't grown up, but we have adult money.
It's so awesome. I love having adult money. It's so. All right, now here we go. And you know who's not going to be making adult money? These coaches that just got fired because they're unemployed. They are unemployed.
They're unemployed.
Yeah. Let's start with the top. The craziest one that we saw, which was the last one. Mike McDaniel of the Miami Dolphins, former coach, got fired, I believe, yesterday. And that was genuinely shocking.
Yeah, I think the thing is like when Tua got benched, right? And the GM got fired. We were like, okay, Miami as an organization is deciding to keep Mike McDaniel. Right? They're gonna move away from Tua. They're gonna rebuild, but they're gonna keep Mike McDaniel. They gave him a big extension, gave him a lot of money, right? And we were like, okay, they're gonna move forward with him as the head coach. Despite they're gonna get a new quarterback, they're gonna get new everything, and they're gonna, you know, start anew, essentially with the new regime. But the idea was they're going to keep Mike McDaniel, which I think, to a degree, you can defend.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think Mike McDaniel did a good job. Or they were 7-10, the Dolphins, or like 6-11 this year. They got off to that horrendous start. Offense looked terrible. Defense looked even worse. Mm-hmm. But they brought it back, right? They won like 6-7 in a row. Then they had that one loss against Pittsburgh, and they kind of ended their season. But they were able to kind of salvage something out of a disaster, right? And that part you gave credit to Mike McDaniel for. So that's kind of maybe you could defend why they chose to keep him over Tua. But now it just seemed like, what was the point of benching Tua? And I think the plan was always to fire Mike McDaniel. But why would you wait extra like week to do it? You know, if that was always going to be the plan, why wait a week? You know what I mean? So I think Miami is clearly taking the stance of, okay, this hasn't worked. We're going to start fresh and brand new. We're going to bring in a whole new regime, whole new GM, new coach, new quarterback, and we're going to start all over again. Because the team, not great.
Yeah.
Not a great team.
Not a great team. The defense especially is horrific. And I think if they had a better QB with Tyreek Hill and Jalen, I mean with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, the fact that we aren't winning more games, and offense is insane. The O-line's a bit, O-line's a bit shaky. The O-line's a bit hit or miss, right? But the fact that we aren't winning games with this team is showing a lack of coaching. And there was a lot of talk about at the beginning of the season how, like, Tua was like, players weren't showing up to meetings, and the way Tua was talking in the media, and some of the answers that Mike McDaniel was giving was just like, are you driving the bus, or are you just sitting on the bus and the bus is getting driven by somebody else?
Right.
It's kind of what it was giving. So, I mean, look, 35-35. He went to the playoffs a couple times. Has not won a playoff game at all. He's been there 4 seasons. I think if they get a new quarterback, it might be a couple more years of struggling. It might be a couple more years of, okay, well, we're just not ready yet. And, you know, there's no patience in these organizations, right? They want to be competitive. These teams, they want to be able to make playoff runs. But I don't know if that is I don't like the Dolphins brass definitely thought about like this whole thing and was like, oh, I don't think Mike McDaniel is gonna get us there, even if we have a new guy, because if he couldn't do it with our good team a couple of years back.
I think Miami can go one of two directions. I think it needs to go in one direction instead. I think there's an idea that this team is still competitive, right? That this offense is still good enough that with the right coach that can fix that defense, a couple pieces here and there, they can spend some money, and they could go out and be competitive in the AFC, right? There's an idea of that, and it's not necessarily a terrible idea. You still need a quarterback. You still need an O-line. You still need a whole new defense. So maybe if you go and get like a Vance Joseph, you go get like, a Brian Flores type of thing again, which would be kind of funny. Like somebody like a Lou Amarillo type of thing. Kind of revamp that defense. Bring in a good coordinator. Maybe you draft a quarterback, maybe you sign a quarterback, whatever. Maybe bring in Daniel Jones. I don't know. And you kind of go at it again. But I think Miami needs to do a total overhaul and a total rebuild again. I think the past couple years hasn't worked. You did get to the playoffs with Tua and Mike McDaniel, so I guess you can call that somewhat of a success, right? You did get there. You lost to the Chiefs. They got there twice, I think, to the playoffs during that tenure. So I guess to some degree it worked. But now with the Bills where they're at, with Josh Allen and the Patriots back up on top, that division is going to be harder to get through. The AFC got a lot younger, a lot better, and much more improved. Mm-hmm. I don't see Miami competing in the AFC if it's Tua and that defense. I think the direction to go in is to just, completely tear it all down, bring in a young head coach, revitalize the defense, the young quarterback, and start the rebuild process over again. Yeah. So I think you trade Tyreek Hill, you trade Jalen Waddle, you trade Devon Achane, you trade your best players, you get picks, you get capital. I think you have to blow it all up. I really do. I think you have to be. I think when you you bench Tua, you fire your GM, you fire your coach. This is a lateral move to get worse, and to try and rebuild this team. Because in the AFC right now, I don't see him competing for anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially because Drake May and the Patriots are now on the up, and if Josh Allen's in Buffalo, they're always going to be in contention. And the Jets, listen, I know they were really bad this year.
We ain't going anywhere. We ain't going anywhere.
Look, in the next couple years, who knows with a young quarterback and the culture's changing, and maybe. But that's what the Dolphins are potentially fighting for, is third or fourth place. They're not fighting for second. They're not fighting for first because they're not good enough. So they're fighting for third or fourth place. So, and also I think the culture aspect is another thing. Like Mike McDaniel's culture in the locker room, it just felt like players had too much. Like they was talking too much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like players just were talking a little bit too much for my liking. I'm not saying like silence them, but I'm saying tell them to shut up a little bit more. Like they were just doing too much talking.
It was too much of like a. The term is like a country club mentality, where it's like everybody was like kind of, you can get away with stuff, you can say whatever you could say, and you won't get punished for it. You're at a country club type of thing. It doesn't need to be a prison. It doesn't need to be doesn't need to be run like that. But like there needs to be some level of like discipline and responsibility held, and things need to be attended, meetings, stuff like that. You speaking out of turn, like culture is a big part of it, and I think it was too loose down there. It's Miami, I get it. Party town, party city, fun city, beautiful city, beautiful, right? But at the same time, you're a football team. You got to act like it.
Yeah, this isn't like the YMCA where the boys get together and like just do some quick pickup games. Like, no, this is like a seriously run organization. We have to act like it as a team.
With history and legacy.
They went seventh. What did they go? 16-0 that one year? 1972?
Yep.
And that was it.
That was it.
And they're cooked. But they got that for them, so good for them. Mike McDaniel, like, where could he go now? What do you think would be his next destination? If I had to put in a word, I'd say he's going to be an offensive coordinator of a team that I like a lot. You know, maybe Giants. Maybe
I feel like we're gonna hit out a lot today from
maybe
you.
Tampa Bay, right? You know what I'm saying?
Stay in the same country. The same country. The same state. The same state. Sorry.
Stay in the same. Stay in the same. Well, that's a hard sentence. Stay in the same state.
See?
Stay in the same state.
The same state.
And play with Baker Mayfield and have a litany of offensive weapons that you can play good with. And then Todd Bowles could just worry about the defense instead of trying to fucking coach the whole team.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
I kind of tempt with Atlanta. Kind of. Just because I like that offense for him, but I'm like, I feel like he needs like a defense already built. Like he can't develop like that. Atlanta defense is young and needs somebody who can come in and develop them.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of back away from the Atlanta job.
Yeah.
Maybe Tennessee could be fun.
Could be interesting.
See what he could do with Cam Ward.
But do you think he becomes a head coach again?
You know, I thought about it. I think he does. Just because of guess what he did? You ready for this? He made the playoffs. So, I do feel like he was a head coach with some success for long enough, where I feel like he's warranted another head coaching job. Now, after that, if he's struggles again, we probably go back to coordinator. But I feel like in terms of what he deserves, I think he'll be offered head coaches jobs by teams. I don't think he'll be offered a coordinator job. Whether or not he takes that job is a different conversation, but I feel like he'll be offered head coaching positions as opposed to being OCs.
You know, it would be an interesting shout. Cleveland.
Yeah, I can see it.
Already a built-in defense. You just got to come in there and make the offense great. I don't know, Jim. Could be a decent shout. Could be a decent shout.
He brings Tyreek with him. Don't know.
Him and
bring Waddle in there.
Shedeur and Tyreek.
It's that timing.
Perfect timing, you know. But you know what was for the Baltimore Ravens perfect timing? Getting rid of John Harbaugh. After 18 seasons, 193 wins, including playoff wins and a Super Bowl championship in those 18 years. They decided to let him go. This year was not great. Lamar Jackson dealt with injuries this year, and the team kind of underperformed with him and without him. And the defense was just awful this whole year. This defense was not good at all. And, people have been talking about John Harbaugh's, decision-making in some of these games and, how, the Baltimore Ravens are this record and, when they have the lead and that they choke away games and stuff like that, so, maybe it was time. Maybe they think, you know what, we couldn't really win with John Harbaugh. We got to a point where we were in the AFC Championship game and we just couldn't get the job done, multiple years in a row. We're in playoffs, and then we just choke. It's on players as well, but it's got to be on coaching too. So then they decided to let him walk. How do you feel about it?
So I'm gonna defend John Harbaugh a little bit here, because I do think in recent years, some decisions haven't really been his fault.
Talk to me.
Right? I think recently, if Tyler Loop hits a field goal from 30 yards, I think, we don't have this conversation. I think he's still there. Right? I think if Mark Andrews doesn't drop the ball in his chest in the end zone, they probably beat the Bills that year.
Mm-hmm.
If Lamar Jackson doesn't shit the bed against Kansas City Chiefs at home, they're in Super Bowl that year. Like, I think in recent years there have been some player performances that have been disappointing, right? And I get it, some of that's avoidable. Better, maybe they shouldn't be in that position to begin with. That's fine. But I think John Harbaugh is a very good head coach. I think he still is a very good head coach. I think, he hasn't gotten over that hump in a long time. And I feel like with Lamar Jackson, maybe that's kind of, arguable that he should. You have the most, Lamar's an enigma in the NFL right now. But keep in mind, he had to go through a tough AFC with, Burrow and Mahomes and Josh Allen at their peaks, right? And I think what's been surprising to me has been kind of the overall, mentality from Baltimore and, losing games they shouldn't be losing. Mm-hmm. And, not playing up to competition. That's kind of been surprising. I think you've kind of seen it recently. Yeah. Right? I think ever since that loss to the Chiefs in the championship game, right? There's been, a slow, decline of the Ravens of, player mentality a little bit, and, performances on the field and losing games and not dominating games like they should. So I guess you could kind of say it's been brewing for a while, this move. Frustration would be probably the word I would use. But I think John Harbaugh knows how to build a defense. A lot of people say that Super Bowl win in 2012 was because he had that defense handed to him. People forget
Hold on, your mic cut out.
People forget, we're good?
Yeah, you're good.
That, he built that defense in 2012 when he won Super Bowl against his brother. That's why it was so great. It's not like that was he developed that defense, he drafted that defense, he signed that defense, he made that defense really great. So I feel like in that regard, he still was a really good head coach. He deserves credit for that. Yeah, he had one of the best defenses of all time. He made it. He didn't walk into that one. So it's to me, even through previous years, his defense has been really good. So I'm not worried about that. His offense has been his offenses. And I think he's a very, very good head coach. And I get it recently, the results haven't been the results, and that's warranted. And I'm first to admit if a coach doesn't get the results that they're supposed to get, it warrants a firing. I've been saying that for Sean McDermott for a while now. I think Mike McDaniel you can make an argument for. Raheem Mostert you make an argument for. So I think in that regard, it's fine. It works. Right? New direction, 18 years. Baltimore has this thing where they keep coaches forever. It'll be their 5th head coach in 40 years. That's a crazy stat. So it's I get it. And I think anybody, teams are rolling out the red carpet, the orange carpet, the green carpet, the purple carpet, the rainbow carpet, the non-rainbow carpet, the black carpet, whatever it is.
The blue carpet?
The blue carpet.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. Right? For John Harbaugh. This is not teams are so excited for the opportunity to interview John Harbaugh and the prospect that he might be their head coach, right? So, I think he still is a really good head coach. I think he's a really good developer, and I think he'd do a really good job wherever he goes. That being said, and we'll get to this argument of where he should go. Depending on where he goes, John Harbaugh needs time. Okay? He's never been a coach to step in and win with a team right now. Right? I don't believe that. I think he needs to kind of develop this group, develop a team, and get into his image, what he is an ideal image for his team. Right? So I think when you look at the current landscape of the NFL and the teams that need head coaches, there isn't a lot of teams that are ready to win now. So we'll see what happens after the playoffs. Because now if a team emerges that fires their head coach, that is ready to win now, that maybe become the ultimate destination. So it's going to come down to what John Harbaugh wants. Does he want to win another Super Bowl with somebody else that's ready to win now, i.e. maybe a Buffalo, i.e. maybe a Pittsburgh, if that emerges, which would be pretty fun.
That would be so funny.
That'd be so funny.
And Tomlin goes to the Ravens.
The trade-off.
The trade-off, yeah.
I don't think he's going to anywhere in the AFC. I think maybe if he goes anywhere, he goes to the NFC. Maybe the Packers, if they get rid of Mike LaFleur, if they lose, could be a potential option. We've seen it before where teams make the playoffs, they'll fire their coach. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility. So, but if we're looking at the current landscape right now, there are a couple of destinations that are very intriguing for him, and that need time and development. Because I could already hear them from WFAN. I could already hear them from ESPN Radio. I could already hear them from ESPN New York. All the Giant fans being like, yo, if we get John Harbaugh, we're winning the Super Bowl, bro. I'm telling you. Like, this is going to be the guy. Like, next year, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboo, Malik Neighbors, and that defense, yo, we're winning the Super Bowl, bro, with John Harbaugh next year. I'm telling you. I'm like, guys, pump the brakes.
Nah, I would agree. Pump the fucking brakes. We ain't winning the damn Super Bowl next year. Pump the fucking brakes. But we'll be better than we were last year. Which is good. We'll maybe get 7 wins. I mean, the Giants are like a fucking baby deer. You know what I'm saying? Just got birthed. You gotta learn how to walk. You know what I mean? You gotta fucking, we're stumbling on the ground and shit, right? Clanking our knees together and shit, trying to walk. We gotta learn how to win. We gotta learn. All right? Which, when John Harbaugh got fired, I heard a lot of chatter saying the Giants are aggressively pursuing him.
Yeah. You want to know what's funny? Apparently, when John Harbaugh got fired, the Giants had a planned meeting with Kevin Stefanski, who we'll get to in a minute, and they were going to dinner with him. And they were like, we might have to cancel this dinner right now and go talk to John Harbaugh.
Jim.
But I think out of all the destinations, I think the Giants are one of the more appealing ones. I think it makes sense for John Harbaugh to kind of make that lateral move for 2 reasons. I think the first reason is that this Giant team, I've been saying it all year, I know you disagree, is very close. I think a lot of their pieces are kind of set in place, right? I think their quarterback is there. You have an elite receiver. You have a good running back. Your O-line got a lot better, right? You're playing in a division on the decline. The Eagles did not have a dominant year. The Commanders had a down year, but really didn't look that good. And the Cowboys are still a dysfunctional mess. So you're in kind of a weaker division than where you started, right? And I think the second reason is that defense, while terrible, not good, I'll give you that. Is young. It's a very young defense. And the one thing that John Harbaugh can do really well is develop a really good defense. He's done that in Baltimore a lot. Throughout 18 years, his defenses have always been mid to good, never bad. Mid to good. Borderline great and Super Bowl caliber at times. So John Harbaugh can develop a defense. I think if you're able to get in some more picks, maybe bring a couple of free agents or two, he could really revamp that defense in 2 to 3 years and make it great. On top of having a great offense. And I think because it's so young, it's moldable and workable, right? I think he's able to kind of step into that room, identify who can identify that could work out really well, and really craft the defense within a year or two into possibly a playoff defense. I believe that. I think that, to me, is very appealing for John Harbaugh. Now, granted, there's a couple other teams like that I think he do the same thing for. So I think it has to be kind of like, how does he feel about New York and the Giants? Because it is going to be with a lot of pressure. It is the Giants. You have legacy and history. But he was just in Baltimore. He won a Super Bowl. He's dealt with it before. I think he's experienced enough to kind of deal with it. It's whether or not he thinks it's a very appealing job. It's a very fun job. Does he want it? I know you want it. Now I'll let you have the floor and explain why you want it.
I think John Harbaugh is a great coach as well. Kind of got the shedding of a stick in Baltimore. Lamar's injuries this year didn't help. They won with Snoop Huntley. They were in the chances to make a playoff run, and they missed the field goal. So, it's tough sledding for him. They weren't able to get over the hump. But yeah, the Giants, we haven't been able to even sniff 5 wins some years. That's the hump we have now. That's the first hump. I just want to get over the first hump. And then we'll take it to that next hump, and then the next hump, and then the next hump. I just want 5 wins with competency on offense and consistency and tough competitive play and not giving up fourth quarter leads. That's what I want. All right, I just want consistency. Even if we lose, we still are trying our damn hardest, right? And one thing that I would give credit to John Harbaugh for is when they drafted Lamar Jackson, people and scouts alike were just absolutely shitting on Lamar, even though he was a really young, talented quarterback with a lot of upside, right? So if you put him in a system where he can flourish and he could develop and you give him some time, you are going to have an elite player on your hands. And what John Harbaugh did was that when they drafted him, he literally went to him and the offensive coordinator said, how can we make this offense for you? How are we going to be able to use all your skill sets? How are we going to be able to help you become the best player that you could be? And I'm looking at that same thing, and I'm like, Jackson Dart, young QB, good arm, decent running ability, can make shifty moves in the pocket, great pocket awareness. The O-line played better this year. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to fear for his life on dropbacks. And when he did, he was able to scramble out of that, step up in the pocket, make a few guys miss, make some nice throws across the field. And I'm thinking John Harbaugh could get the right guy in here to be the offensive coordinator and to be able to help out Jackson Dart of that offense so much more than what we've had before. Because when you see this Giants offense, it's got good pieces. It's got good pieces. They're not scrubs ultimately. Now, granted, it's not a lot of pieces, but there's some. There's some guys. You got Malik Neighbors coming off of injuries. Cam Scatterbo also coming off of injury, which is crazy. You got a young QB in Jackson Dart who's developing, right? You got Wan'Dale Robinson in the slot. Theo Johnson's up and coming, right? Get rid of Darius Slayton. Get rid of him. Cut him immediately. Get him off my team. I hate him. So I think John Harbaugh, him being able to bring in the right guys in order to make this team good is why I would want him on my team. Because, listen, there's another guy on this list. His name is Mike McDaniel, and I'm just saying, if he doesn't get a head coaching position, I think an offensive coordinator position with the Giants would be spectacular. Let's just say it right now. Jackson Dart is way better than Tua. Way better. And I don't think anybody's going to deny that. Malik Neighbors is really good. Cam Scatterbo is really good. Fuck it. Bring Jalen Waddle over. Bring Devon A-Chain over. Let's make this the New York Dolphins. Come on. We could get some pieces here, right? I'm just saying the future's looking bright. And if John Harbaugh's here, I think we could bring in a lot of good guys into the room that are going to be able to usher in more success for these players in development.
Listen, I agree. I think the problem is that you're not dealing with like one other team. You're dealing with like 6.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to, like, I think the Cleveland Brown job is also very appealing for John Harbaugh with that defense and that offense already pre-built. I think the Atlanta job is very intriguing. I think if he wants the project all over again, he goes to Tennessee. I don't think he's going to the Raiders. The Raiders jobs he's not going to take. I think the Dolphin job is very appealing as well. So I think there are a lot of, and then if another job opens up like Green Bay or like Buffalo, I think those are intriguing too. I think the problem is not where he fits; it's where he wants to go. And the truth is, we're probably not going to know until after the playoffs. So we're kind of stuck here for a while.
I hope we know. I hope we know tonight.
And no, it's not going to happen.
Please, Giants, please. Give him whatever you want.
The problem, too, is that, like, nobody's going to hire hire a head coach until John Harbaugh gets hired. That's the other tough part of this as well. Like, so we're gonna be waiting on head coaches for a while. But I think obviously the Giant job works for a lot of people. I think Kevin Stefanski is another guy the Giants might want to consider. I think he's a very underrated head coach. I think he won in Cleveland. We talk about Baker. Kevin Stefanski won in Cleveland.
Almost won a playoff game with Joe Flacco.
Almost won a playoff game.
And let me tell you, listen, and there's one thing about Kevin Stefanski that I'll give him credit for. He had to deal with Andrew Berry, who, if you don't know Andrew Berry is, he's still the Browns GM. By the grace of God, he's still the Browns GM. Because, given all those contracts to players who don't deserve it, and most notably Deshaun Watson, a bad guy, awful guy, guaranteed money. So, Kevin Stefanski having to sit up there and cope for Deshaun Watson the whole time just to make Andrew Berry look good. When you actually have a GM who can actually bring in some decent players, i.e. Joe Schoen, who's he's more good than bad, Joe Schoen is, and he's brought in some really talented pieces, young pieces too. I think Kevin Stefanski would be drooling at the idea of being the head coach of the Giants. I think he would love to, especially with this young offense and not having the cap situation be a problem, or the quarterback situation, or the GM just being an absolute incompetent man and fool. He can also bring in somebody to harbor in this defense and to make it great. I wouldn't mind that either. He's my number 2 though. I think John Harbaugh is really good. And
I think he was a number 1 until John Harbaugh became available.
Yeah, he was. He really was. And I would not have minded that, but now John Harbaugh's here. We're like, scooch over a little bit, buddy. I need to get a better view of this guy. Let me tell you.
Listen. Kevin Stefanski is like a solid 7. Solid. John Harbaugh is a 9.5.
Yeah, I want that guy, respectfully. I want him. So, now moving on. Let's move on to another team who fired their coach. It was the Arizona Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon got fired after 3 seasons, finishing with a 15-36 record. That's horrific. He was awful, and the defense was awful pretty much all the time. Kyler Murray was never really consistently healthy or never really consistently that good. And it was kind of tough for Jonathan Gannon for... I guess, to see the future with him, because one thing about a good coach, is that he can make a team that isn't good play above their expectations. And that's what separates, really great coaches from other coaches who aren't that good, right? When you have a group of guys where the management is like, all right, here's what we're expecting. Maybe 5 wins. Maybe 4 or 5 wins, be, not really that competitive this year. But next year we could be competitive. When they make you competitive now in the first year, that's how you know you got a good one, i.e. Mike Vrabel, right?
Yeah.
Patriots got him. They had a lot of money to spend, and he started spending a lot of money. Brought in some good guys, and they played a way above it. They're the number 2 seed, right? And Jonathan Gannon just never did that. Even with a team that may have not been super ready, they were always awful, a laughingstock of the NFC West. So, I think it was time for him to just go. Yeah. And is he a defensive coordinator at heart or an offensive coordinator at heart? I think he was a defensive coordinator at heart. I don't think he's offensive. It's a great question.
I think he's defensive,
I think he is defensive. Because it says here on the Yahoo article that I have pulled up, he was brought in to bolster Arizona's defense. So I think he was a defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Look, I think I'm surprised he lasted 3 years in Arizona, but I think a coach needs to show some kind of improvement, some kind of, availability to bolster a team that's not that competitive, even if the roster is piss poor or like lacking that talent, if you're able to show like some fight and some grit and some determination from your roster within like 2 to 3 years, you can still probably keep your job and be have an argument for staying on as a coach, right? And waiting for that team to get better year after year. And Arizona, they accumulated pieces. They got better, they got new talent year by year. Kyler never really got better, and that's a problem. That defense never really got better, and that's a problem. And that team never really got better, and that's the main problem. So I think when you consider all that, the fact that he lasted 3 years is kind of miraculous and a miracle. I think Arizona is still in that kind of disastrous state of like, where do we go from here? We have nothing. They really aren't showing us much. I think they're in like complete teardown situation. I think it's trade our best players, get assets, and rebuild again. Because nothing has worked out here the past 4 or 5 years. Like before Mike Gannon even got there, like it was a disaster from the start. So I think Arizona just needed a complete overhaul of everything. Play in a great stadium, but the play in the field is terrible. You beat the really bad teams. You lose to really bad teams. You never got a win against a good team that I can remember. And you play in what is right now the toughest division in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I mean, something had to change. It's going to be a project. I think you go young, or you bring somebody out of retirement and you just try to rebuild that team, get them started, get them going, because it's not looking bright. Like you even have Kyler there, and that's the biggest question mark. It's even going to be there next year. So Arizona, to me, I feel like because the Jets are so bad, we don't look at Arizona and the Cardinals, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're very similar, but the Jets are just so much worse that we just don't look towards Arizona. Like, that organization has done nothing the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like another team that fired their coach, the Las Vegas Raiders haven't done shit. They're also awful. They're also a terrible franchise. Once
they
revered.
made it to the playoff and almost won a playoff game the past 10 years. Arizona didn't even do that.
That is true. But Pete Carroll definitely didn't do that shit this season. They were 3-14.
No.
He was awful. They tried to bring him in to like bring in some stability, I guess, and like try to make this team play above expectations. Like maybe they were shooting for like 7 wins, maybe 8 wins. Maybe they were shooting for that. But they only won 3 games and they look awful, and Geno Smith looked horrendous, and the defense was awful. Everything was awful. This team was bad. And he's 74 years old.
Yeah.
Time for him to go, unfortunately. And you know what? Yeah. First overall pick. Tom Brady, part of ownership. Probably a very reasonable guy. Nice guy, probably. Probably is going to provide a lot of insight. I think this job is kind of appealing. Even though it's the fucking Raiders. You play in Las Vegas. That's nice. Get to move to Las Vegas. That's pretty nice. Nifty. And you have a chance to build something. And if you're looking for a challenge as a coach and, you've been on top of the hill for a little bit, maybe you want to start something fresh and build your own name there. I don't know.
I wouldn't, this name just kind of like flashed into my mind. I wouldn't mind it, but it would take some time to get my head around it, and like for a lot of NFL to get their head around it. But I think if he's given 2 to 3 years, I think he could build a good program there. I wouldn't mind on Mike McCarthy. I think with a young quarterback, he could rebuild that offense. I think you bring in a good defensive coordinator, and you let him kind of cook with Mendoza or Dante Moore. You kind of rebuild that offense a little bit. The O-line's pretty good. You have Ashton Genty there. Mike McCarthy loves a big, powerful running back. I wouldn't hate it, but I think it would take time. I think anybody who goes there is going to need 2 to 3 years. But I wouldn't give it to a young guy. I wouldn't give the Raider job to a first-year head coach. I think they need somebody who knows how to build a program, somebody who knows how to commit to it and knows how to win games, right? I think they need a Tom Thibodeau. That's what they need. They need a Tom Thibodeau.
I think Mike McCarthy is the Tom Thibodeau of the NFL.
I think he is too. I think he comes in, he knows how to win games. He just slowly builds up that team, and I can see it happening. And I think with Tom Brady's influence and with the money they have to spend, I think I can get behind that.
You know what? Wouldn't mind that. You know what I mean? Mike McCarthy, in Dallas, made the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a good bar to set. Right? If you are a guy coming into an organization who has not really had playoff success in a very long time, you have that over them being like, listen, I made the Dallas Cowboys playoff guys every single year. And we know how dysfunctional that organization is, but the players are good. So if we could get this organization shit right, who knows what I could do on the field with guys coming in. So I honestly wouldn't mind that either. I think they got to give him time because obviously you're going to draft Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore. You're picking one of them, right? Unless you trade for like Joe Burrow, which is not happening. So you're going in there with a new quarterback. You got to give him some time. So give the coach some time too to work with them. And then if it flourishes, looks like we got a relationship for like the next 5 to 6 years.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. And then the next coach.
And look,
keep going.
I think real quick too.
Yeah,
I think everybody's coaching list right now is John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, Mike McCarthy. Realistically, that to me is the big three. So I think anybody who gets one of those three is going to be very happy in what happens, but they still need some time to work. But again, I wouldn't mind Mike McCarthy or Kevin Stefanski going to the Raiders. Kevin Stefanski to me is also another decent shout. But
yeah. Well, speaking of Kevin Stefanski, let's talk about him getting fired from the Cleveland Browns. 46-58 record, including playoffs. He spent 6 seasons there, and they had their 4th losing record in 6 years. And they're picking in the top 7 for the 2nd straight year. Pretty much is Kevin Stefanski, at least in this article that I'm reading, he kind of wanted Deshaun Watson. You're the problem. You're the problem, Stefanski. You're the problem. You banked on shit talent. And he had 13 quarterbacks start under him, which means no consistency at the quarterback position at all. It's very hard to win with that. And Stefanski, he made the playoffs one year. Good for him.
Good for him.
That's pretty cool. Did he make the playoffs? I think he came after Baker, I believe. Or was he with Baker?
I think he came after Baker, yeah.
Was he with Baker? Kevin?
I think it was after Baker.
Stefanski. That's a great question. Let me look up his record. When did he make the playoffs? 2020. He won a play. He was the coach with Baker. Get the fuck out of here, man. Yo, I knew I liked this cat. Listen.
Your attitude to him just shifted entirely.
Well, because he was the coach who won the playoff game. He won 11-5. It's not bad.
With the Browns.
And then went 11-6. A couple of years later with the Browns.
One coach of the year.
And then the last 2 seasons, he was 3-14 and 5-12. I mean,
yeah.
From 2020 to 2023,
he was cooking.
He tried.
But then guess what? But then guess what?
What?
They gave Deshaun Watson the money. Now, granted, maybe that's not his problem. That wasn't his mistake, right? So, how much can you somehow worked to a degree. They beat really good teams too. So I get it. The record isn't pretty, but they played really well. And if they had some more talent, they probably win some of those games. They beat playoff teams this year. Like they were a really decent team. They were tough to play against. That defense was really good, right? Kevin Stefanski, to me, I know the record the past 3 years isn't pretty.
Yeah.
But when he has a good team and he has a decent quarterback, he's got some motion.
Got some motion in that ocean, baby.
He could do some stuff.
Yeah. Just saying, chat. You know.
But the past 3 years,
I think it was
listen, he made Shedeur Sanders look pretty good.
Chat. Somebody in the chat says John Harbaugh didn't deserve it to get fired.
I don't believe he did.
I can agree with you. I don't think he deserved it either. But you know what I mean?
Again,
some of these old-timey coaches, man, might be just time for a new voice. You know what I mean? You've had success. It might just be time, And it's funny because we can only say that about coaches, by the way. If we said that about anything else, we sound like a terrible human being. Think about it. You said that about your husband or your wife. It's just time.
It's just time.
You said that about your mom or your dad or like your brother or sister. It's just time. Fuck it. Get rid of them.
We need different voice in the room. We need new plan, new ideas. Just a new breath of fresh air.
Yeah. That's kind of what the Browns needed. And to be honest, I don't know how the fuck the GM is still there. I really don't. I truly believe that he's stuck there with black magic. I don't know how the fuck he's still there, but he should have been fired a decent bit ago.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's beyond me. It's beyond me. So, anything else you want to say about Mr. Kevin?
I think he's a very underrated coach. I think he's a very intriguing option. Yeah. But I do think he needs, wherever he goes, I think he needs some time to kind of really, because there really isn't I guess Miami could be an option. Atlanta could be fun. If they get a quarterback in Atlanta with that offense with Kevin Stefanski and a decent defensive coordinator, that Atlanta team in that division might actually be cooking. I don't know. But yeah, I think there's options for Kevin. I think he's a very fine head coach in what he can do when he has a decent roster.
Yeah. And speaking of a not decent coach, Raheem Morris got fired from the Atlanta Falcons. A 16-18 record in 2 seasons. One season they were 6-3, and then they just collapsed. And then this season they were piss poor awful.
But they finished 8-9, and that was good enough to win the division.
Did they finish?
And they didn't win it.
They finished 8-9. Am I bugging?
They finished 8. There was a 3-way tie for first.
Oh yeah, last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this year. This year just happened.
No. They weren't
8-9.
They were not 8-9. They won maybe 5-6 games. 6-7.
6-7.
Maybe. Raheem Morris. Oh, hold on. Let me look at his record. He was there. So 2024, 8-9. They were fucking 8-9. Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Get the fuck out of here! That's insane. That's crazy. Get the fuck out of here! Holy shit!
They could have won the division.
That's insane. I mean, but here's the thing, with that talent on the field,
they should have won the division. They should have got that 9th win. And they'd be in the playoffs. With their talent on defense and that talent on offense, they could have finished first in the division very easily.
And also, guess what? That division is shit. You should. You should. That's fucking insane. They went 8-9, but they were fucking already out of playoff contention. Ain't that fucking some funny shit? That's insane, dude. You know what? He did deserve it. Fuck it. How are you not in playoff contention when all three teams were 8-9 already? How are you not in fucking contention? You did deserve it, Raheem. All right, and I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I saw Raheem Morris on the sidelines, it always looked like he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just him like sitting there with his arm crossed like this.
Look at the scoreboard.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. As the player runs out before touchdown.
Yeah.
40 points we give up? We give 40 points? Okay. Yeah. Michael Penix threw a pick. Yeah.
And he's always adjusting the microphone. He's always lifting it up and down too. So funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
But yeah, like they have a really unique tight end. They have a probably top 5 receiver in Drake London, arguably. Bijan Robinson's probably a top 3 running back when he's good and on his game, arguably. And that defense is young and moldable. And you went 8-9. And I get it. I get it. Michael Penix maybe isn't the truth. Kirk Cousins definitely wasn't the truth. And the GM, that the GM's different conversation, different story. But still, you feel like with that talent, you can get something out of it. And the fact that you got to 8 wins in that shit division with this roster proves that if you have a decent head coach in there, maybe somebody who could work with Michael Penix, maybe can figure out Michael Penix, maybe could actually unlock Michael Penix, maybe there's something there in Atlanta. You feel like next year that division is wide open. Why can't it be Atlanta? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like with the right head coach, that Atlanta could be a very, very fun destination. But Raheem Morris just he didn't do anything. Like, that team looked dead in the waters the past 4 weeks. And if they had one more win, they'd be in the playoffs. They'd be in the playoffs.
But the thing is, they couldn't get that one extra win.
No. And they were the most miserable 8-9 team, and the Bucs were 8-9, and the Bucs had injuries. Explain that shit. It don't make no sense.
Doesn't.
But no, I feel like if Atlanta can get the right head coach in there, they can make some noise next year. I really see it happening. But Raheem Morris wasn't it.
Yeah, not even close. And then we got some other coaches who already got fired. You got Brian Daboll, and you have Brian Callahan of the Tennessee Titans, who Brian Daboll went 21-41 in 3.
Good luck to whoever
seasons.
goes to Tennessee.
Yeah, good luck to Tennessee. Good luck. I mean,
Godspeed.
You got Cam Ward. You got the 4th overall pick. You got a GM who knows what he's doing. A former front office guy for the Chiefs. So he's seen success. So he may know how to build it.
You know what I wouldn't mind there? I wouldn't mind like a Vance Joseph, like a Chris Shula type. Wouldn't mind that. Like a Joe Brady, even. That's a young offensive mind or defensive guy. Just go in there, just work. Listen, that division ain't going nowhere. That team ain't going nowhere. Let them cook.
Yeah.
Let them get experience. Let them work.
Maybe get Brian Daboll as the OC with Cam Ward. Hold on, Jim.
Daboll as an offensive coordinator, I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't mind that
for any team. I think he could still work with a quarterback. He still can work with an offense. I think, decision making was part of the problem, but I think he still is a good offensive mind. I think in OC, wherever he goes, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah. And then Brian Daboll
Go
got
Robert
fired
Saleh
too.
route.
Yeah, Robert Saleh might be getting a head coaching gig.
Maybe.
We'll see. Maybe.
Salah is pissing a lot of teams off because it's only proven that you can go back home and still find another job.
But and also in this article they talk about one coach that is safe, and that's Todd Bowles, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let me just run down a little bit. 36-36 record, including playoffs. 36-36. 4 seasons there, and they were, the Falcons losing away from. No, wait. They were the Falcons losing away from making the playoffs. Right? And I don't think they've won one playoff game when they beat the Eagles that one year. And that was it. And yeah. Everything else is pretty
mid.
Pretty 6-7,
Pretty 6-7.
It's funny because we know Tampa Bay can make playoffs, but we know they're not going far. We know they're not making it to the NFC Championship game. We know they're not. Like, that's the thing with these teams. Like, maybe you could get behind them getting hot and making a run. With Tampa Bay, we knew their ceiling. 10-7, 9-8, maybe divisional, maybe winning a wild card, maybe. And that was it. So, like, I feel like if we're firing other coaches for going farther and losing further into the playoffs consistently year after year, but having better seasons in better divisions and going farther, they get fired. But this motherfucker is still here? Organizationally, there's a problem.
Right.
There's a problem because the standard is not being met. And other teams have a higher standard for what they want. Not you. They won a Super Bowl in the last 5 years. What happened to that? Let's try to get back to that. But no, we're stuck in a realm where we're tolerating mid. We're tolerating it now. We're like, 9-8. If we just make the playoffs, that's right. That's good. We made the playoffs. We have a chance. No, you don't. You don't have a chance. Nobody's picking you, besides me. That's it. Like let's be honest. If the Bucs make it past the wild card, who's picking them in divisionals? Not many people. Let's keep it a bean. Like we're just not doing that. So I don't know what Tampa's doing, but this is a call for help. I think they're like stuck in like a genjutsu or whatever, and they can't get out of it. You know what I mean? Like it's just something is going on there that I think they need help. Because why are we sticking with Todd Bowles even when he's shown you that he can't get over a hump of barely making out the wild card?
Yeah. I don't know. It's I think just to kind of like it's a Pittsburgh Steelers argument that we always have, right?
Yeah.
It's like success to them is doing the bare minimum. And that's good enough for them. It may not be for you and me, for the average fan, but to that ownership group, to that GM, to that coach, it's, hey, made the playoffs. So that's the goal every year. That's what every team wants to do, make the playoffs every year. That's the goal, and we do that, right? This year we didn't. We're out it by a game. It is what it is. Chalk it off to injuries, chalk it off to whatever. Now, next year becomes uber important, right? And you kind of still feel with Baker there and that offense there and that, let's run it back. Let's see what we can do. And, I think making the playoffs will again be the bare minimum. And they're okay with that. Listen, we could bitch, we can moan, we can say what that they define success by making the playoffs. At the end of the day, that is what matters the most. And if that's the case, that's never going to change how they feel about it or what they do regardless. Todd Bowles could just make the playoffs and they'd be fine. Like, that's it. Like, it is what it is. Mike Tomlin makes playoffs every year, and they're okay with it because guess what? That means success. That means the year was successful to them. Doesn't matter how far you go, you got to the dance. That means you get the revenue money, you get the fan money, you get a home playoff game. Every team wants to do. And shake your head, but again, that's successful. And again, to us, it's not, but to them, it is. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Now, Todd Bowles, now because he didn't make the playoffs, his hot seat becomes extra hot. It becomes muy caliente, as you would say. But now, see, now if he makes the playoffs next year, it resets. And we chalk up last year to, oh, shit happened. It happens, whatever. But now if Todd Bowles makes the playoffs next year, his counter resets, and we start all over again. This is how the Tampa Bay Bucks view themselves as an organization. It's what Pittsburgh does every year. It's what, a lot of teams do every year. The Ravens, on the other hand, were like, hey, we didn't make the playoffs. Brother gone. Redo it. Somebody new. we don't accept that.
I don't give a fuck if you've been here 18 years. I don't care.
Right? But that's the difference. Right? That's the difference. They didn't care about excuses. They didn't care about Lamar was injured. You didn't make the playoffs? Goodbye. You had one job, beat the Steelers. You missed a kick? Too bad. You're gone. New voice.
And you know what?
That's the difference.
I like that.
And that's what you like, right? That's what. But if you're the Bucks and you're the ownership group there, it's like, oh, shit happened. Oh well.
Yo, that's how it feels. Chalk it up to whatever. We struggled. Sure, we fucking collapsed in the last 10 games of the season and no consistency in losing the teams we should have beat. Whatever. Fuck it. Fucking horrific.
But you all know what coach surprises me?
Talk to me.
That still was a head coach. That I genuinely, this genuinely pisses me off.
Talk to me.
How the fuck is Zach Taylor still in Cincinnati? Explain that to me, because I can't rationalize that one.
Let's see. He went to a Super Bowl 3 years ago.
Yep. All right, guys, good show. See you guys next time. Yep, that makes sense. Yep. All right.
He went. That's the only reason that they could even want him. He's got us there before. He could do it again. Can he? Some coaches go there once and never get back.
Yeah. Is my mic off? No. Okay. You want to know what it is? The AFC North, like the NFC South, a shit division. Shit division, right? The Ravens did not have their quarterback for 5 weeks and almost won that division. You had a Pittsburgh Steelers team that was a shell of itself the whole year. And even though the Bengals did not have Joe Burrow, you couldn't make any noise in that division. That's a problem. How is that Raheem Mostert got fired for doing the same thing in Atlanta, but Zach Taylor didn't?
Expectations. They like him.
Listen, that's the only way it works. Because Lamar Jackson had a bad year. There's no Mahomes. You didn't. I don't think you play. I think you played Josh Allen. You almost beat Josh Allen. Right? Josh Allen's team had a down Bills team this year. The AFC is there. In that playoff room, there's an opportunity. And I get it, Joe Burrow got turfed out. I get it. Right? And he is the offense. But that offense is still disgustingly good. Even when Joe Burrow wasn't there and you had Joe Flacco and Jake Browning, you were still cooking. You still had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and that God forbid offensive line and Chase, the running back, Chase Brown, right? That defense is so disastrously bad. Disastrously bad. And I understand that. And maybe that's not Zach Taylor's fault, but it kind of is because he's a head coach. You know what I mean? And it's been that way for 3 years.
Yep.
You have arguably the top 3-2-1 quarterback in the NFL, wherever you want to put him when he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get out of that division?
Yep.
When two teams in that division and the Browns, who had 3 wins, and you couldn't get out of that division? And you almost lost to the Browns? Oh, they lost to the Browns, didn't they? Yeah. How is Zach Taylor still the fucking head coach? Explain that one, because I can't rationalize that one at all.
I don't think there is any. You know what it is? It's delusion. They're delusional. About what, though? I don't know.
You know what it is? It's the AFC North teams love keeping their head coaches. They love it.
They love that shit.
They love it. You realize that? Kevin Stefanski was there for 3 years, had 3 losing seasons, get fired this year.
He was there for longer.
For a long time. John Harbaugh there 18 years. Mike Tomlin there 20 plus years. Zach Taylor's now going on what, 8 years there?
Close to that.
6, 7?
6, 7.
Right? They love their head coaches there for some reason.
They don't want to fire anybody. I don't get it. And also the Bengals, man, they haven't been shit outside of that Super Bowl year, man. They have not been shit. Like what ties do you have to this guy? Like, you have nothing. And even that year you went to Super Bowl, you were 10-7. You're 10-7. You're not doing that shit again. Respectfully. Unless
maybe maybe Jess is right. Maybe get Joe Burrow out of there. I don't know. Joe Burrow was depressed this year, and you still kept the same head coach. How does that work?
We were literally doing mental health checkups on Joe Burrow this year. We were like, is he okay?
We talk about Miami having a locker room issue. They can't even keep their quarterback happy.
Not even. They put him in a depressive state. I've never seen that. I'm so dead.
At least Tua was trying to make it work and saying, "Hey guys, let's go." Joe Burrow wasn't even gonna try that shit. He was
sitting there like, you like to win, and we're not winning. This sucks. Yeah. I'm not happy. I'm sad. Like, literally, if he literally went up in the press conference and all he said was, "I'm sad," everyone would be like, "Please trade him now. Please. What are you doing to him?" Like, like this is an abusive relationship. Like, why are you abusing him? Like, please, we need to blink twice if you need help. You know what I mean? Like, this is a savior. We need to save him. Operation Save Joe Burrow. Like, get in there, steal him from the practice facility. I don't know. Kidnap him.
Field Team 6, U.S. Coast Guard, American Navy.
G.I. Joes.
G.I. Joes.
What other?
Rambo.
Fast and the Furious. They can come in here.
Yeah.
Save him. The Avengers need him.
The Avengers.
Yeah.
The Justice League. Invincible.
The X-Men.
Homelander. Ben 10.
Danny Phantom.
Yeah.
SpongeBob could come in here too. Fuck it, why not? We need a morale guy. Keep everybody happy.
We need a morale guy.
I don't know, but yeah, that's those are the coaches, man. It's horrific. We're gonna be live tomorrow for the games.
We will.
That's gonna be fun. Playoff games. Are you gonna put parlays down?
Playoff time. This is the time where listen. I got paid today. That shit went right into the FanDuel account.
It's time, baby. Let's put the most unrealistic parlay and see if it hits. 20 legs. Come on. Let's do it.
20 legs.
Fuck it.
It's going to hit.
It's going to hit. It's going to hit. Watch. There's going to be one guy. He didn't get 3 yards. You know what I mean? Chalk it up to that. I was about to hit.
That's about it.
But we'll see you guys for those playoff games. Thank you so much for watching the stream. And as always, take care. Be easy. And fill out your brackets. See if you're correct. And I'm going to have a lot of ego. Because if I lose a pick, I'm crashing out. So Thank you guys so much for watching. Take it